the rooks, and after
Straight
that
up.
happens, yeah, there's no more winning. And actually, just quickly to finish off this variation, let's say a5 happens, rook d2 check, trade rooks, pawn a6. It looks like, oh, that pawn can't be stopped. Black has bishop e3. You could also promote first and play bishop e3 next, but the bishop is untouchable because then black promotes, and if you don't take the bishop stops the pawn before it can get to the other side. So this is, a very clean draw for Gukesh, and it just goes to show that even in the scariest of possibilities, it is still a hold for him.
Rook a8.
And I think the bishop g5 and e3 idea is really straightforward and shows it. Okay, sorry, Danya. As you said, rook a8 was played, but not my analysis, just rook a8 instead. But bishop g5 immediately on the board from Gukesh. Rook d2 check doesn't just help maybe the e-pawn advance, but also prepares to put the rook behind the pawn if you ever needed to do that. So these types of lines show that very hard, despite the fact that Hikaru Nakamura probably has more fans watching around the world and certainly on a regular basis than just about anybody in the online chess streaming space. His candidates has been an incredible ride and in many ways already very successful, but it is not going to end with him competing for a world championship match at this point.
No, there's no chance of that. And we are talking about this like Hikaru's trying to find chances to win. Hikaru might be finding chances to lose because Robert's point, and again, I want to make it clear that my hat is off to Hikaru for even making it this far, for winning the pawn back and avoiding that losing line in the middle game. It's a testament to his fighting spirit. But Robert, am I off the mark here in claiming that after rook d2 and e3, if someone asked me who would I rather be, it would probably be black. Maybe Hikaru is doing that deliberately, trying to go king f1 and bishop e2 and saying, you think you're so cool because your pawn's more advanced? Well, look at my a pawn. That pawn is going to be on a7 before you can blink. I've played.
So, just for everyone looking, if a7 is played by white instead of taking the bishop, the whole point is that you're threatening to give check and get a queen. So, a move like rook a5 can be played, and after check, the king moves. You get a queen, and the point is this is still a draw. We have king and bishop and pawn versus king and rook. There's no real way for white to win this. Doing so, you risk losing. If you try to coordinate the king and rook in any kind of fashion, you probably get a queen. And even if you lost the pawn, it's a theoretical draw. So sorry to sound dismissive, but just showing again that even if black has to part ways with the rook for the new queen on a8, this is still a draw. Sorry, Robert, you got it.
If that black king were on e6, for example, we might be singing a different tune, because in the line where white takes this bishop on d2, and we see Hikaru thinking about it just quickly after king takes d2, instead of whatever move order you want, but initially king takes d2, a7 right here, rook a5, a7, excuse me, I got confused now in the move order, but the point is that rook f8 check is a big threat, but the black king go back to g7, so if the king were on e6, it would be in the wrong square. But we see that the players, it looks like they're just going down these forcing lines. Danny, if you go back to the live board here, it seems like we're just a matter of time between Gukesh at minimum getting to a tiebreak.
He moves the king forward. Hikaru is about to get a queen, which will quickly exit the board as Gukesh snaps her off. And I think Gukesh is moments away from, at the very least, clinching a tiebreaker affair, depending on what happens in the other game. After e3, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just agree to a draw here soon.
Yeah, and even without the pawn, it's a draw. But then Hikaru would make 50 moves. With the pawn on e3, Hikaru was likely to give up his rook for the bishop. There will be bare kings on the board, and that is an indication of what this means to the players, how hard they fought. But ultimately, Gukesh, the professionalism, the composure, until the very last moments. You can move the bishop. It's essentially the same thing, Robert. That's it. What a game. And what a performance by Gukesh. All eyes now on the other board.
And, we see that the moves, they're trickling in, and Hikaru has just moved his rook along the fourth rank, it would seem. They're moving faster even than we can get on display. But it seems like the last pawn is gone. So Hikaru's given up his rook. He's given up his winning chances. The game is officially a draw. The handshake is in. And Gukesh officially, at minimum, goes to tiebreaks. But Denny, he may be our world championship challenger if Fabiano Caruana cannot find a win.
And what a candidates the young man has had. As I said at the top of the show, people thought he was here to get experience. Turns out he was giving us an experience, the Gukesh experience. And we might be living in a Gukesh world here for many years to come. That guy has at the very least punched his ticket to a tiebreaker, and what a thrilling one it would be if it does happen tomorrow. But it may not even happen. He might be the man already having clinched